a challenge to try to get, you know, the good level of spice. And there were always these arguments between the team members. Some were saying this is not spicy, some were saying this is crazy spicy, some were saying I'm dying from how hot it is. Kind of funny, I like all these things. But at some point there was a running joke between the team members behind the back of our team captain that if we are going to refuse to show up if we don't get the iPhone promised, you know. So we had this thing that, you know, we're going to revolt as players, and if they don't give us the iPhone, we are not coming to the game, you know. When Gukesh was at Vidit's wedding, it was a different person than when Gukesh is playing the second round of Kanzai tournament in the Netherlands. So some people, they have this very, very strong game mode.
How was it for you in Goa?
You know, from a result, chess point of view, was not a great success. I was knocked out as early as the third round, which is, you know, on the early side. But this particular edition of World Cup was maybe extra wild than usual. Lots of favorites were knocked out early. Fortunately, of course, I already had qualification secured for the candidates, so that didn't hurt as much. I think if we played the World Cup 1,000 times, Sindarov will win 20 times and Pragnanda will win 40 times.
We ask, how do you see this candidates lineup with the Pragnanda in it?
I think it's a really cool lineup. It's kind of a fun thing. There are two players from the States, but a lot of players are from different countries. Yeah, like you could have multiple Indian players, of course, easily. You could have many German players also.
Hello everyone, welcome to TOI Sports. This is Jyotirmoy Halder, and today I am joined by one of the most prominent chess figures today, Anish Giri, the 2025 Grand Swiss winner. He will also be playing in 2026 candidates. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Let's start with how was it for you in Goa?
You know, from a result, chess point of view, was not a great success. I was knocked out as early as the third round, which is, you know, on the early side. But this particular edition of World Cup was maybe extra wild than usual. Lots of favorites were knocked out early. Fortunately, of course, I already had the qualification secured for the candidates, so that didn't hurt as much. But of course, it was a disappointment. You know, it was a long journey, and I hope to stay more there and fight for the top places. But it was enjoyable overall. I mean, you know, I expected some challenges, you know, with like the jet lag and the food, which is not, you know, common for players from Europe. And yeah, it was going to be not easy, but it was quite all right. You know, nice place, also very summer vibes, you know, and coming from almost winter in the Netherlands was an interesting change.
You're back in home, I feel, right now.
Yeah, I'm back home.
And how are the preparations for the upcoming GCL?
First of all, as the World Cup has just finished, I found out the full list of participants for the candidates. So that's been on my mind a lot, especially last couple of days. And for sure, GCL being my next event is the next big challenge. I'm really looking forward to it. I am going to warm up, you know, a little for the Rapid. I haven't played Rapid and Blitz in a long time. I've been focusing fully on the classical the last few tournaments. And there's going to be some change in pace, so I will need to still warm up. And I am expecting, you know, maybe a turbulent start in GCL, but I'm going to try to warm up for the Rapid and Blitz again, because after GCL there will be World Rapid and Blitz Championship in Qatar Doha as well. So that now I'll have 2 events in a row which are Rapid and Blitz. So that's a shift in mindset and requires a little different type of play. But I'm going to warm up for it in the coming days, and I'm looking forward.
You have had some experience of playing in GCL. If you have any stories or any memories to share with us.
Yeah, I played last year. Was very memorable. I played on the Icon board, which was a big challenge for me at the time. I was going through a very bad form before.
Okay.
And I came with very low confidence, and I had to face the best of opponents on the Icon board. So I was very worried that you know, my team was very strong, and I was like by far the weakest link given my form at the time, and that I was playing on the board. So I was very worried that I will be, you know, dragging my team down. But it went well. I think it was one of the turning points for me, this GCL. It gave me confidence for my comeback. After that, my results have improved a lot. Yeah, I played quite well on board 1. I had these crazy matches with Alireza Firouzja, who's one of the world's best Rapid Blitz players. And my team was doing exceptionally well as well. We almost won. We just lost in the final. It was very narrow. And it was a lot of fun. We had a very mixed team, different players. we experienced it very well. Well, one thing was it was in London, but still our team and from India, yeah, with the Indian organizers, Indian managers, and
Yeah,
there were a
coaches.
lot of funny,
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of funny things, but coach as well. But the first thing that now comes to mind was the with the food, because we were getting some food because sometimes you would play during the day and it was like
Mhm.
lunchtime, so we would go to the game and stay there for many hours, and we could get hungry there, so we would get some food arranged for us. And yeah, it was always a challenge to try to get the good level of spice, and there were always these arguments between the team members. Some were saying this is not spicy, some were saying this is crazy spicy, some were saying I'm dying from how hot it is. And like it was kind of funny. I like all these things, and yeah, it was kind of an interesting experience, like just overall with the team, how we would
Mhm.
travel through London to the playing hall, and the traffic of London, was sometimes you get stuck in there, and no, was a good vibes. Also, we had really funny things with. At the end, we got iPhones as the gifts for
Oh,
good
okay.
performance from our
Oh,
team, which was very very kind. But at some point, there was a running joke between the team members behind the back of our team captain that if we are going to refuse to show up if we don't get the iPhone promised, So we had this thing that we're going to revolt as players, and if they don't give us the
oh.
iPhone, we are not coming to the game, So we had this. It was a joke, of course, it was a joke. But we did get the iPhones though finally, so I don't know how joke it was, but we had lots of fun with the team, and we are all very different players. We had Shahryar, a much older player. We had Nodrbek, a younger player. We had Nihal. We had the women, like all from different cultures, different ages, different countries. Some language barrier between some people, but it was still kind of a lot of fun, and we had all these inside jokes and food and the travel to the round, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I'm hoping, we were very fortunate to get so close to win. We were dominating the qualifier phase as well last time.
Mhm.
Before the knockout, there was a qualifier, and we were like by far the best in the qualifier. So we were very very close to win, and I hope we'll get another chance like that this year. And even though I'm in a different team, but I hope I personally will get another chance to be in a team that fights for the first place.
Playing with so many top players, did you guys talk enough? Did you guys exchange that many ideas?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. You mentioned that it depends on players, and depends on the setting and different tournaments, different moods and different stages of career. I knew some players that at certain periods, we were very friendly with each other. Then for some reason we were less friendly. Then for a period, then again. So it is complex in that sense. In our own team, yeah, it was like we had enough shared moments and enough fun that we all were a good homogeneous team. But there were few moments where you could tell that, of course, some players were more focused, and they would, for example, leave earlier from the dinner or not come to a dinner certain days because it would be more, they were focusing on their own routine. So these things, they happen, that's very normal. And yeah, we've experienced those with our team as well. It's a thing. Yeah, I mean, it is true that chess, it's let's say if you are playing football, you are used to being a team. It's a team sport, so you are being taught the team building, and it's like team building is a vital part of your upbringing as a sportsman. But in chess, team events are occasionally there and usually not. Most of the events are individual, so you are not really taught, and you don't even want to be taught the team spirit, the whole team bonding thing. Because there are all these fun games that team can play, like where you try to synchronize with each other, like don't
Yes.
stand up at the same time, or all these kind of things. Or so there are all these, or even companies, that work in team. They have all these team, the trips together, or they have these games together for the team bonding. In chess, it's not as common, and occasionally you indeed, when you are in a team event, you do miss somewhat you miss somewhat that whole team bonding. Yeah, but overall, I think although my last team, yeah, was full of very different individualistic people. In particular, for example, Absatorov Nodrbek is very very focused, has his own routine. He doesn't. I think we never. I think we almost or never ate together. Like we didn't have lunch or dinner together. I never was with him on the same table, from as far as I can remember, because he has his very strict own routine, when he eats, what he eats, where he eats, and I have a different one. And he stays in that tournament mode, in that zone. And I was with Gukesh in many different occasions. I was with him, I spoke to him during tournaments. After, I was with him at wedding of Vidit as well. And it's like different people every time. It's a different person. So when Gukesh was at Vidit's wedding, it was a different person than when Gukesh is playing the second round of Vaikanzai tournament in the Netherlands. So some people, they have this very, very strong game mode, and that's definitely a thing. And that's something that you have to deal with as a team. And then it's also on the team captain, the coach, to try to find a way. Because, we had a very wise captain last time, Abhijit Kunte. Sometimes you also have to, I feel, as a captain, you have to let go. For example, let's say you want to make a team meeting for everyone. And if you see that certain players, they are not really inclined to have that this evening, maybe sometimes it's better, rather than insisting on the forced team spirit and trying to enforce that team spirit and finally breaking it all apart even more, maybe that you realize, okay, today is maybe the day where, I'll just let it be. And for the sake of the team, actually, you skip one meeting, but you preserve the good spirit between all the players and the coach. And so our coach, I think he was very tactful and very, very smart at, when he felt that, the team was going apart a little bit, he was letting us go apart, only to come back together stronger. So there's a lot of complexity there, and it's interesting. That's why it's interesting also for chess to have these team events as well.
Taking you back to the World Cup, I don't know if you know that during the Women's World Cup, Divya Deshmukh was seeded 15th, and she went on to win the Women's World Cup. Here as well, Sindarov was seeded 16th, and he went on to win this FIDE World Cup. So, do you think that it is a coincidence, or it's a recurring thing that the top seeded players and the lower seeded player, they are getting eliminated, or the middle, those who are hovering in the middle, they have the best chance of, because they have the best kind of creativity?
No, I understand where you're going with that. No, so first of all, 15 and 16 seed is not the middle at all. It's the top. Like, there are 100 players.
Yeah.
So middle would be number 50. So Divya and Sindarov were both amongst the favorites, but perhaps within the favorites, they were not at the very forefront. For example, Arjun and Vincent Keimer and Gukesh, obviously, Prague were more favorites. But Sindarov was not a surprise. He was an elite player, world number 20. So, and as well as Divya. Divya is also a world-class player in her own right. So that's first of all that. I think it's a coincidence, frankly. I think if you ran this tournament 100 times, I think the top 10 participants will score more victories than people ranked between 10 and 20. I mean, okay. I think if you run this experiment enough times, the top 10 will score better than between 10 and 20. That's what I think. And I think the two events is too small a sample size to draw the conclusion. Because I think at the end of the day, I think the point is that world number 5 is amazing, let's say. Okay, maybe it's now me. I don't mean me, somebody else. Yeah, maybe it's 4 or 6 or whatever. I don't know my ranking now. I don't pay attention, but somewhere there. But what I mean to say is that, Vincent Keimer is an amazing player who can win the World Cup or Grand Swiss or any of those. But Sindarov is also a really great player who also can win. And Vincent Keimer was a more likely favorite to win than... or Pragnanda was more likely to win than Sindarov. And I think if we played the World Cup 1,000 times, Sindarov, will win 20 times, and Pragnanda will win 40 times. But we just ran it once now, and it happened this way, because I do think that ratings are still there for a reason, but the gap is too small now to show in a short run. And when you have a 2-game match, you can play a ranked 100 in the world, and you can't, in 2-game match, you can't tell the difference. You need more games if you want to really be reliant.
Yeah, it's the knockout format, I think.
Yeah, it's too short. If you made, it's like you can't do this. It's unrealistic. But if you had each match last for 10 games, you would see much less upsets. I'm sure that world number 10 would beat world number 70 across 10 games. But across 2 games, really
it's too small.
But it's fine this way. I mean, still in the end, the great player wins. It's fine this way. But I'm just saying that the upsets are more likely.
Yeah, because there is not many tournaments with this knockout formats, in chess right now.
Absolutely.
At the top level of
and
chess.
I enjoyed playing it a lot. The good thing is that when I was knocked out, I had a lot of free time that I had spent very well on my projects. and rest and preparation, and I feel good about it. I don't have any bad feelings about the World Cup. At the same time, as a spectator, after I was knocked out, I was watching the World Cup. It was amazing to watch. It was so much fun. It was action every day. Somebody was being knocked out. There was so much emotion. I loved watching it. So I think it's a great format. But of course, there's beauty to each format as well. There's also beauty in Global Chess League with the teams, and there's beauty in the Vaikanze tournament in the Netherlands, when we have 14 players playing classical chess, 1 game a day for like 2-3 weeks. And it's a completely different thing. It's a different mindset. Nobody's leaving it early. Many people want to leave at some point, but they can't. So it's it's a different and it's beautiful in its own way. It has its own beauty, and knockout is also something with its own plus and minuses.
Since you mentioned Vaikanze in the Masters next year, you will be the, I think, oldest player to participate. How does it make,
yes
make you
that's
feel?
true. That's a hilarious fact. I was completely shocked to find that out. I mean, it's a bit of a coincidence. Somehow Caruana didn't play, or Aronian, or many people that play often, they somehow, somebody sometimes doesn't play certain editions, and it doesn't happen always, but it's a kind of a coincidence. But it's also a consequence of that. There are so many young players that you can invite now, and I was quite shocked, and it's going to be a fun fact for me that I'm the oldest player, being just 31 years old next January.
If we ask, how do you see this candidates lineup with the Pragna and the Init, like the whole?
I think it's a really cool lineup. It's kind of a fun thing. There are 2 players from the States, but a lot of players are from different countries. Like you could have multiple Indian players, of course, easily. You could have many German players also easily, but or many Russian players. But there is like 1 German, 1 Russian, only 1 Indian, which is quite surprising. But you have also 1 Indian in the World Championship title holder, right? Gukesh.
Yes.
So you basically have 2. In a way, you have 2 in the running. So that's also good for India. But it's a great lineup. I think the players are all really, really strong. The lowest rated seed, Matthias Bluebaum, is very formidable, very well known player. He's he is seasoned
Second
professional.
in the Grand Swiss, just behind you.
Yes. Everybody knew him before. I mean, maybe people who are outside chess never heard of him, but like I and all my colleagues, we knew him for years. He is a very strong, very good player. He's very stable, but he didn't have that extra top results yet. Before that, but he had something very close, and he became European. He's European champion this year, before that as well. So it didn't come out of nowhere. It's not like nobody came and finished second in Grand Swiss. Like, he was around for years, and he's very good. And this year he was a bit of an upswing with the European. He's a European champion, simply European champion. So he's a very good player. And other players also, many of them, Sindarov is quite low rated, but very, very young. I mean, you will not be shocked if Sindarov in a year or 2 will be ranked number 5 in the world. Nobody will blink an eye. And Yesipenko also is now particularly low rated for his own standards. He used to be 27-30 many years ago, even he was like 19 years old or something. So he's very good. But some people, they have different situations, different opportunities, different moments, phases. A lot of people are, for example, they lose motivation when they don't compete in the World Championship cycle. So they just lose motivation and they come out for a while, and then they have the Grand Swiss and the World Cup coming, and they regain motivation and start working very hard, and then they come to these tournaments much stronger than their rating is, because their rating is based on events where they were not motivated as much as they are now and not as well prepared. So you should take it with a grain of salt, the ratings. I think in terms of lineup, it's extremely strong. Of course, it could be, arguably even stronger if you had Arjun in there, and Firuza and Absatorov, who are regulars in top 10. It could be even stronger. But there are so many great players that I can't say there is a player in there that will be a pushover. And I think it's going to be exciting. And the fact that there are some players who are a little low rated, they might serve as a provocation, for higher rated players to go play more aggressively. And that could lead to a more exciting tournament. So I'm looking forward.
Just one last question that I have is, have you set any, plan or any goal in your mind for the upcoming candidates? Because I was listening to you that you had some plans hiring some seconds. They now have entered the candidates.
Yes, no, this is true. I considered, so right after Grand Swiss, I started thinking who I wanted seconds. and I had a list of certain players, and then I realized, okay, I can't invite them yet because they might qualify through World Cup, right? So imagine I invite some player, and first of all, it's an insult, to him. It's like saying, okay, you will not have a chance in World Cup anyway, just join my team. So I had to wait, and then actually two of the players in my mind that I considered. I mean, I thought of more players, of course, but because I knew that you had. But two of the players that I considered, they qualified themselves, which means that I understand really well what makes a good second, because that second was so good that he became himself my opponent. So I have a good feeling. At least that was a good news for me. I have a good feeling for who is a good player. I'm studying the players. I see who is on the right track. Despite the low ratings, I could sense, that despite that their ratings are relatively low, I could see that they're very good. And World Cup showed it, and now they're my opponents, which is fun. There are more great players, again, the same as as who qualified. Also for seconds, there are many great players. Don't worry,
Yes.
I'll find people. Yeah.
All the best.
Yes, and it's going to be a lot of fun, very inspiring journey to work towards the candidates, for sure.
Okay, we are hopeful of seeing you, in the candidates, and all the best for that. And for viewers, keep watching TOI Sports, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot, Anish, for joining us today. All the best for your next tournament.